I think it was a combination of a number of things. One was it was in the prime of BYU football. Lavelle came here in '72, and then I came in '78, but a few guys before me had started the NFL role, and then many years after I was here. But I think it was a combination of Lavelle Edwards being the coach, the head coach, accumulating an amazing coaching staff. This coaching staff stayed together for the bigger part of 20 years. It's like unheard of. A little bit more in the past, but today you'll never see that again. But you had guys with NFL experience as players, and then those guys went out and recruited some really good players. It's a combination of great coaching, development of the team and the players, and players that had goals and dreams to be in the NFL.
It was not on my. I thought BYU was Yale when they came to me. Respectfully. The NFL was not even in the picture. It was really just getting a scholarship.
Honestly, I think a lot of it had to do with my mom. She pushed for me to go there, and I finally listened to her after all these years. So yeah, I'm grateful she pushed me there, and it turned out to be a good experience.
Yeah, it was, I was lightly recruited, only had a couple offers, and so I was, skinny offensive lineman. And so when they came in and offered, it was like, it was more than a dream come true. It's something that I didn't even realize I could have achieved. I'm so grateful for, that staff and Coach 2J and, all them. And it was really an amazing thing. And I knew right away that was the place I needed to go. So I was pumped.
Yeah, so I ended up taking my official visit, or the visit over there. So that's when they ended up offering me, and then I looked at my mom. And I was like, hey, she's like, you want to do this? I was like, because I fell in love with, like, I think just the view, like Utah's a beautiful place. It looks like in our practice facility, it's like it looks like a green screen. Yeah. So it's just like it's not real, but we get to see the mountains, the Y, just every day. And it's just awesome. But I think the brotherhood, when I took the visit as well. So I think it was just an awesome experience, and I think I just knew I think this was the spot to be.
I grew up in Southern California, and I was not a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, so I didn't really know much about BYU. And I started getting letters from BYU and this guy named Fred Whittingham, and then the DB coach was Dick Felt. Those are two NFL guys. They played a long time in the NFL. But they recruited me hard, and I had a few friends of mine at my high school that were members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And they were like, you should go to BYU. It's a great place. I'm like, where is it? I didn't really know where it was. And so I got hurt. I was a quarterback in high school. I shattered my finger in my senior year, my last game, so I had a big ball on my hand, and a lot of teams just dropped me, and so I kind of had to scramble. And I played defensive back too, so BYU said, "Hey, we have a couple of guys that we think can make it, Mark Wilson and Jim McMahon. So we really don't need you back. We'll take you as a DB," and that's how I ended up here.
Yeah, it was for sure different. Everyone's just so nice. Yeah. I think that's probably the biggest thing. I think everyone was just everyone's so friendly. I think being from Cali, like, you don't walk and just like do this, or like everyone's trying to start a fight or whatever. But like you can walk, oh, how you doing? Oh, doing well. Like actually have like those subtle conversations. So it's cool.
My first day on campus, when my parents pulled my '62 Volkswagen on a trailer hitch from LA up here because they didn't think it would make it. And then we spent the night in a motel down in South Provo. They dropped me off at the dorm at Helaman Halls. We spent about an hour together, and then they said, we got to get going, it's time, long drive home. And when they left, I cried. I just thought, what in the world have I done? How in the world am I going to make it here alone in this foreign land? And that was my first day. I think one of the qualities that makes a BYU player that can turn into an NFL player is that they're serious about their craft. Like, there's a lot of talented players that come here and they just kind of fumble it away. They don't develop their strengths, meaning mental, emotional, physical for sure, and I'd say spiritual, especially at BYU. So most of those NFL guys, they have a dream that they want to play in the NFL, and they chase that dream. And that means you have to sacrifice other things in order to accomplish that goal. And so I think that that's probably the number one thing that sets people apart is how bad do you want it? And there's been players here that have gone after it crazily, mightily, and they don't make it because they just don't have the physical abilities. But if you have the technical skills and you don't go for it, you're in trouble. So there's a saying I always tell them, vision without effort is daydreaming. Effort without vision is drudgery. So we have some players that they have great effort, but they don't have any vision for what they can become. And we have other players that have incredible dreams, but they're not going to put the effort behind. All these NFL guys, they've put it together. Great effort and incredible vision.
I think that was probably Bronco. I was pretty upset that I had to sit out, and then I did everything I was supposed to, and I still wasn't playing, and I felt like I was playing my part in that regards to upholding my end of the bargain, and I didn't feel like he was. And he said that he had a plan, and sure enough, the DC got fired. And it's funny, I always tell one of my favorite games was the Utah State game my freshman year, playing with Travis Uale and Dre Galliai. And in the game, we were getting kind of beat, but they threw us, and the D coordinator quit, in the middle of the game, like calling the same play over and over. And so we were like, forget him, and we started like calling our own stuff on the game, and we ended up like having some turnovers, and we got beat, but it was just fun because we were playing backyard football out there. And eventually Bronco took over the next week, and kind of the rest is history. Grateful he did that, because if he didn't, I wasn't going to stay.
Yeah, I think really it's just I took really just a leap of faith. I think for me, because going as a walk-on, like just doing whatever, especially going to BYU, it's a hard academic school. Like trying to establish myself as a student athlete, going to study hall, and then having to prove myself on the field. I think that was probably like it was pretty tough. It was pretty tough, honestly. But just slowly chipping away at it day by day, and then doing whatever I needed to do to really just get the coach's eye. So whether it was going on scout team my first year, balling out on scout team, then being on special teams and stuff. So I think that played a big role, just being a look team, doing my part, and then the next year switching to backer. We were a lot of running backs in that room, switched to backer. They're like, hey, if they're not going to use you, we'll use you. Mm-hmm. And then being able to use my abilities to be on the field faster, and then had some decent, let's say, fair success there. Yeah. And then fair success, and then towards the end of the year, switched back to running back because of injuries, and then got that chance and took a hold of it.
I think so. My redshirt freshman coach was Mike Empey, and I was just on the scout team. Like I said, I addressed a few games, and they said be ready to go if your time comes. But I still indifferent about like how good could I be. And Mike Empey came up to me. He's like, dude, you could be one of the best here. I promise you. You got it all. You got the intangibles. You got the athleticism. Just keep putting in the work, and you can be an NFL draft pick. So he told me before I even knew. And then my redshirt freshman year, when I started all those games, I had a really good year, and blocking the likes of Bradley and Nye at Utah, Curtis Weaver at Boise State, some of the great rushers of those teams. And I was having a good year, and I really felt like, man, I could be good at this. I feel like I could be special, and so that was kind of the start of it.
I think if you ask them, they would say that there's some things that each of them, and they might not be the same, learned here that took away from their experience at BYU that is helping them become a better player in the NFL?
Yeah, I think specifically Coach Grimes and Coach Mateos and Coach Pugh, um, they were great offensive line minds. I was very fortunate to have two great offensive line coaches and then an OC who, historically has been offensive line minded and an offensive line coach. And so they taught me, how to play the game at a high level, technically in the pass game and the run game. And that's carried over to the NFL.
BYU for sure taught me like the study habits, and then we ran a pro style offense.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough, and it was rewarding because it got me prepared mentally and physically for the NFL. He ran a pro-style defense, and that helped transition into the league really, really well.
Yeah, she's been in my corner, this whole time, and I wouldn't be here without her. Just like you said, through all the highs and lows in college and then the NFL, there's a lot of them, and a lot of people don't necessarily understand them too, because it's just hard to explain, the highs and lows of it all. But she understands it, and she's been there right with me the whole journey, whether through the injuries, through the good times when I was playing well, or maybe the games that didn't quite go my way. She's always there for me, and always loves me the same no matter what. And same with my son. I got a 3.5-year-old son that I'm just dad to him, and so it's awesome to be able to come home every night and just be dad.
I could be here all day talking about her. She's been an amazing. She's probably the reason why I'm still in the NFL. I remember when after my second year I was contemplating retirement, and she was like, "Nope." Even in the rough patches where I got fired at back-to-back years, she saying like, "You're gonna play, you're gonna get your break." And even last year, not getting picked up by a team until week 3. She's like, keep it going, and she still keep it going. So she's my biggest cheerleader, my therapist, all those things combined, coach, all that. She'll tell you if I didn't play good or not. So, but she's very, very supportive. Even if I don't play good, she's still positive, of course, and she's an awesome partner and an awesome friend, and I couldn't have picked a better partner, that's for sure.
I mean, I'm super proud of them because I know how difficult it is. I mean, there's one thing, like when I was in the NFL with the 49ers, every year they're drafting people to replace you. And so they're either draft choices or free agents, and they're coming in and they're trying to replace you. And if you don't rise above the draft choices or the already current players on your team, you're off the team. And so I think like take a guy like Tyler Algier, and he's still dreaming. He's still progressing. And so it's one thing to have a cup of coffee in the NFL where maybe get drafted late and play for a year, or you get a free agent tryout. And that's a special thing. There's not too many guys that get that chance even to sign a contract. But those that can make it beyond that, you're talented, but extraordinarily lucky and blessed.
Gosh, like when I got that call, I was like, damn. Like, we got it, man.
Yeah.
Like, I ended up getting picked, and then, but like, that was just the start. Like, I don't think I got comfortable. Like, damn, I actually made it. Like, once you get here, it's like, all right, you got to make the team now. So like being drafted and stuff, especially, I would say first, second, third, fourth probably has some leeway, but like fifth, sixth, and seventh, like even fourth possibly. Like you still have the possibility of getting cut, so that's why you just can't get comfortable. And so I think that's being a walk-on, and coming up to like my ranks and stuff, I think that's taught me well.
it means an awful lot for BYU to be able to have NFL guys on rosters that have been there for a long time, that have had success. And like, I know this is about players, but look at Andy Reid. I mean, he's a Hall of Fame coach, one of the very best ever. And we talk about Andy and we spread the good gospel news about Andy Reid all the time because he's a product of BYU. He was a player, he was a graduate assistant here, and this is where he got to start. And not only that, but he credits BYU and his time with Lavelle Edwards and Mike Holmgren and other coaches at the time and other players. He was there at the time of Jim McMahon and some of those guys. He credits that with helping construct the kind of coach and man that he is today.
I think I want to be known more as the person than the player. I think I just want to be known as a good player, right? But an even better person, a better teammate, a better leader, a better husband, a better friend, all of those things. I've just always been, that matters, carries more weight to me than the football aspect is, you know, when people around the building ask who I was, they'll be like, oh, he's a great person, and I hope they will say that, and I just try to be as loyal as possible. So, yeah.